Welcome back to Prairie.306. This is week 6 of the garden tours. If you'll notice, it's dark outside because I got so sidetracked doing the garden tours that I forgot to shoot my intro. So you guys can see, this is actually, hello Munchkin, thank you. This is actually where the garden is. You can't really see, but yeah. So what happened in this past week? This past week we have had every single day be about 30 degrees or warmer. So for my American friends, that's I think it's 86 Fahrenheit, 86, 89, 90, and around there. Which some of you are probably sitting there laughing, going, oh, it's not that warm. But it's warm. It's warm. Very warm. So you're going to get a little bit of a literal hot mess garden tour this week. Because it's been so warm, it's been difficult to get out and do maintenance. Pretty much just making sure that stuff gets watered to stay alive. Which, I think I only lost one plant. One or two. The jury's out on one of them still, but I did lose one plant for sure, and I mentioned that in the backyard portion of the videos. Yeah. Not really a whole lot more to tell. Stuff is just doing what it does in order to survive the heat, so some plants decided they wanted to bloom this week and then subsequently dropped their blooms because when it gets too warm, plants just want to focus on keeping moisture in their core, not so much on their blooms. And so they drop their blooms. If they have set flowers already, they usually won't abandon them. Like if they're starting to put fruit on, they usually won't abandon them. But I mean, things happen. Yeah, there's been no bee activity yet. But I mentioned that in the backyard portion. Still fighting grasshoppers, which is a little early in the year to be fighting those. I just hope that they stay grasshoppers and don't become locusts, because locusts will decimate gardens. They will come through and just destroy anything leafy and green, and you don't want that when you have spent a lot of time and effort on your garden. But anyways, yeah, I guess that's really all I can say without giving away some stuff that I talk about in the actual tour parts. So without further ado, I will get started with the clip from the front and then the clip from the back, and maybe some comparison pictures near the end. So see how long this ends up being, because I don't want it to take up too much of your guys' time. But yeah, without further ado, here we go with week 6 of the garden tours. So, heat does a variety of things for flowers and gardens. This coral bell has started to open up, and it is really pretty. I'm very impressed with this. However, the lilies are not super enjoying the heat. Mind you, they also look shorter because this heuchera has gotten bigger. The hosta here is still appreciating the shade that is given by the lilies as it grows. The tulips are starting to fade pretty good now. I'm probably going to be coming through and cutting them back. The osteos are not digging the heat. I've been out here watering every second night on them, and they're still looking pretty faded. However, these guys are all flowering now. Also, I apologize if there's just randomly a jolt in the camera, because there's a lot of mosquitoes and I'm kind of getting eaten. One of the dahlias here has a bloom that has started. If you see right in there, still getting chewed on by the grasshoppers, But I read a post earlier today that if you don't have things chewing on your garden, is your garden really a part of the ecosystem? And that feels very validating. Got a little bit of bird crap on the lilies. Oh my goodness. We do have a robin that likes to hang out. I wanted to get a bird house out for her this year, but I didn't get a chance. Birds need very specific conditions for their houses, which I didn't know about, but maybe next year I'll be able to put something out for her. The sunflowers love the heat, just loving it, living their life, being glorious. This hosta is a little bit on the small side, but it came back, and that's all I really care about right now. Let's see what else. The clematis has recovered. It has started climbing. Oh, focus, come on its own, which is fantastic. I was instructed not to cut the dead back because it grows on dead or old growth. So I'm leaving that, even though it doesn't look super great. But again, first year transplant, so hopefully next year it'll be a little bit better. Oh, and the coleus and the bed are doing wonderful. The fishnet stocking ones just look amazing. The grass is not happy. Some of it has started to go to seed, but it'll get cut and that'll be fine. It's just been very warm, and no matter how much you how much you water things, it stays real dry. Speaking of dry, these guys are very dry. I have to put fertilizer down tonight. It's supposed to rain, so I'll be putting probably nitrogen fertilizer down on these guys so that they can push out more leaves, and then some of the phosphorus and potassium down on the flowering stuff. See, even the petunias there are not very happy, and they get watered almost every day in this heat, which is probably another reason why they're not super stoked. And then we got this. There's a lot of flowers. There's also a pretty new flower, and I've got snaps going. So these yellow snaps have gotten taller, and they're just beautiful. They are starting to fade. Red ones have flowers. The pink ones have opened up. There's new buds. Love and life. This calla lily finally opened, and is that not beautiful? Rimmed with pink, light creamy white color. Just beautiful, and it really jumped up with all this heat that we've had. Here's another snap that's got a head on it. These containers, I think I might have to pull the colocasia out because I believe it's just too hot for them. They really enjoy a lot of water, and these urns, they're moist throughout, but I don't think they're quite wet enough. So I may end up pulling these colocasia out and just letting the coleus take over, because I mean, they're kind of doing that already. Like, look at these. I found a picture of when I first planted these, and I'm gonna have to do a comparison because yeah, they've taken off. This alyssum is doing beautifully. The purple ones are doing really well too. This pot, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do because it showed me up definitely when I said that nothing was happening, and now lots is happening. I may have to pull one or two of these pumpkin plants because they're just too big. They've already knocked out the beans. These pole beans need something to climb on. I do have the sunflowers in the back. Again, I've just been waiting to see if they'll recover because they were pretty sad. But it should be good enough now to put one out. But yeah, I'm probably going to have to rip out one of these pumpkins. So if anyone in Regina wants a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin plant, shoot me a message and let me know, and I will dig one of these out and you can throw it in your yard. This container's a little less burnt. Again, they keep putting out new leaves. I feel like it might just not be the right spot for them. So I'm probably going to end up taking the coleus out. Not the coleus, sorry. The colocasia, and letting the coleus just take over. Because that seems like a pretty fair arrangement with just the coleus and the alyssum. Got another flowering snap. Pretty pink ones. These callas, I really like the dark color. Even as they're fading. I did plant a cover through here, but I think it's just been too hot. So it hasn't really come up. Because that's not a weed. That's from a seed. I wish I could remember what I planted though. I have the seed packet in the back, so we'll have to check. And then this beautiful thing. Every day I come out and I look at it and I am floored by how beautiful it is and how well it's doing. And like, got blooms that are spent and have started to fall off, but the orange color is just fantastic on them. And it's got new leaves coming out the wazoo. So I'm hoping they should put out another bloom stalk. I hope. I think actually this might be one right here. Yep, it totally is. Look at that. Oh, it's gonna be glorious. And yeah, you can see the heads are starting to fall off. So this container will get a dose with the higher phosphate and higher potassium to help with blooming. This is the best I've ever had nasturtiums come in the years that I've been growing them. They're doing wonderfully. I have given up on the other two calla lilies coming in. This one, however, is doing really well. I don't see any blooms coming up on it yet, which this one I planted right in the pot, so it is behind the other two over there. These are the really dark ones, so I'm interested to see how this color, because it's called Black Forest, so it should be really, really dark, will compare to those ones, which are technically a dark purple, but they're pretty dark. So, yeah, this is the update for the first week in July. Yeah, we're already in July. It still boggles me. Anyways, now we shall head out to the backyard. Okay, so we got flowers, we got plants, got a whole lot going on because it's been really hot back here. So the Tiny Tims have set one of them, oh no, both of them here have set fruit, or flowers at least. So the Tiny Tims are determinate tomatoes. They get to a certain height, set flowers, set fruit. That's it. One flush and done. Then we've got, I believe these are the chocolate cherries. I think. Yep. So they're starting to put flowers on. I have to tie them up this trellis. It's been windy here too, so things have been blowing around. I was out here pulling suckers. Marigold is doing really well. Peppers are a little warm. So these are the candy cane peppers. It's been hot, so they're putting buds on, but the buds aren't doing much. I believe this is the ancho, I think. I have it written down. I promise I know what I'm doing. Maybe. Then we've got jalapeno and ghost, the bells that are putting on flowers. They're doing really well, like really, really well. Nice, sturdy plants. This cucamelon got knocked over in the wind, so it was trellising. It actually was climbing this tomato the other day, and I had to make it so they weren't friends anymore. The white currant has has set fruit. Oh, focus camera, come on. Oh goodness, is that not adorable? Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, there's a little sucker in there. More flowers coming. Oh yeah, the cucamelon, by the way, has little cucamelons on it. So does this one. I think this one might have a few more than the first one there. Yep, look at them. They're so little. I'm excited to eat those. I haven't actually tried them before. I believe I always get this. Oh yes, this is the Apache. There's 2 in here. Last year, these are seeds saved from last year's plant. It did really, really well. So I'm hoping there could be cross-pollination, because that happens. So it could be straight up Apache peppers, or it could be a cross. I'm not exactly sure. The serranos. Are these the serranos? I think so. They need to get staked. They're starting to put flowers on. Or buds out anyways. Then I've got my evil olive. That does not have flowers yet. But it's a good sturdy looking plant. I'm pretty excited. I think I accidentally topped it. Pretty sure I topped it because I'm pretty sure this is a sucker. So I'll see if the sucker puts out flowers. I may have messed up this tomato plant. But that happens. Mistakes happen and we learn and go from there. The basil, the purple basil, is doing really well. It smells so good. The Bosque Blue, one of them has set flowers. This one has not yet. But I think, again, this one got busted, so I think it's been topped, which means it may not put flowers out, but we'll see. There is a little sucker growing in there, so I might just let that grow and see what happens. This one, however, has little tomatoes on it. So these are Bosque Blue Bumblebee tomatoes. They are a white-yellow tomato, and they'll turn purple where they get sunlight on them from anthocyanins. And I'm very excited. They're so pretty and they're so little. There's also another truss of flowers coming up here. I will have to tie this up again. There's a very good chance that these tomato plants will outgrow these trellises that I have in the bags. It's all good. It's gonna be a little jungle out here. The pepperoncinis are putting out buds here. The one that I was concerned about is actually come back really nicely. Because if you'll remember from previous videos, this one was pretty toast looking. And now it's not as big as this one, but it has recovered. And then we've got the serrano in here. And what was the other one in here? The hot wax, I think. Sweet banana. So these ones have flowers on them. Probably gonna have to put another tie on them as they get taller here. The flowers are looking really good. I was concerned because it decided it wanted to flower in the hottest week that we have had in a very long time. And when that happens, the plants usually forego their flowers and focus on staying alive. but pepper plants also enjoy heat, so they kind of just did what they wanted to do. These ones we were treating, it seems like whatever was chewing on them has died back, whether that was because we put BT down or because some predator pest came through. Yeah. This one down here is foregoing some of its blooms, which again, when it's been 30 plus for almost a week straight, it's not surprising that blooms are being foregone. My basil bucket doesn't have anything in it other than the purple basil that I started. It's been a really great spot for spiders, which I'm not super stoked about because I put my hand in there, didn't realize there were spiders in there, and did a little, oh my god, it's spider dance. This marigold got bumped. It's still growing though. This basil keeps flowering on me, so I keep just plucking the flowers off because you don't want your basil to flower because it will start to taste gross, and you don't want that. It's beautiful. Yes, this is my beefsteak that is also starting to set trusses. Last year, I got some big beefsteak tomatoes last year. It was pretty impressive, so I'm hoping that I get big ones again this year. The berg is doing amazing. It's got to get trimmed a little bit, but it's doing really well. Again, very much enjoyed the heat. Janie grows an inch a day, which is a lot. We are making sure that she stays within regulations, but she's beautiful, and I've never grown a weed plant before, but I guess I'm not really technically growing it, Ian's growing it, but we'll probably always have a weed plant in the summer because they just grow super amazing. Now the bean shelf. Excuse me, sorry. The sunflowers are super upset. I have tried to save them. I don't know if they're going to be saved. Oh, look! I don't know if you can see him. There was a wasp. Look at that. Oh, that's excellent. I've got peppers. Everything on the shelf needs to be watered. It's been very hot, and I have been watering, but when you are in a container, you dry out faster, so everything needs to be watered. These need to be moved towards where our bees are. These need to be deadhead. Everything's doing well though, considering the heat we've had. A lot of the pole beans here have reached the top, so I'm weaving them across the shelves now, and they're gonna make a nice frame. That's what the word that I want. These have still not made it to my mother-in-law's yet, because I keep forgetting to tell Ian which pots to take. They're also a little sad because they're dry. Same with the strawberries back here. They'll perk up. I gotta water everything. They're just unhappy because it's been warm. Very, very warm. The bean plants are doing good. No flowers on them yet. Hopefully that'll happen pretty soon here. The lemon balm, R.I.P. lemon balm, was in full sun in a 4-inch pot and didn't quite make it, unfortunately, so that will get tossed. The hot joker peppers, I had one of these the other day. Now, I had it so that I didn't have to eat any of the seeds or the pith, but it was actually quite good. And there's a couple more here that are turning red. I learned you don't want to pick your peppers until they're red. I didn't know that. I thought you could pick them up whatever color and they would eventually turn, but apparently they won't. So you want to wait. More beans. And the pole beans are just taking off. doing what I wanted them to do. The Tabasco's a little wilty. Again, it's just been very hot. Then, while I have access to the stairs here, I'm going to show you what's going on with these cucumbers. So, one of these cucumber baskets is not doing very well. That one. Not quite sure why, but I'm monitoring it to see if it'll bounce back. I mean, they're green, they're just little. Then those ones have started to trellis up the chains of the baskets, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. These ones are the ones that I started in the baskets, not the ones that I started early, and they're honestly doing better than the other ones. So I think next year I'm just going to start all my cucumbers right in the baskets and have them go instead of transplanting them. The pickling cucumbers, all 3 baskets have flowers in them. You can see that they've grabbed a hold of the chains and are starting to climb, which is exactly what I want to do. Hopefully they get up the chains, up into the canopy, and start crawling across the canopies, because that'll be just gorgeous. Yeah, and then if you look back there, the improved long greens are really living up to their name. They are massive. The strawberry baskets are doing well. There are strawberries starting to form. Thankfully, I don't have birds that are getting after them because I don't want to fight birds. What else can I get from this angle before I pop on those boots? Oh, the bee bed. The cosmos and the zinnias have popped up. So hopefully those will start really shooting up here. And those will be very pretty in, hopefully a week or 2. Just look at these. So many. Oh, they're so beautiful. And, true to form, I greatly overplanted everything because that's what I do because I have no control. No control. Alright, so now it is boot time. And my boots are dirty because I was already out here picking endive for supper. So the endive looks a little bit beat up because I was into it. So, excuse me, Janie. This week, I did pull all of the weeds on our side. So, it looks a little cleaner. Again, it's been hot. Oh my. Put your garden tools away, people. Or else you could possibly get hurt. So, we've got some radish that are doing good, some carrots that are doing good, and some beets that are doing good. And we got other ones that are not doing so good. We've got this cabbage, which is a little fighter, and I cannot wait to eat it. It's very wilty right now because it's been hot. Brassicas like it cool. But this head is doing really well. I'm going to have to dust for BT again just in case, although I have not seen any more evidence of cabbage loopers other than what has already been on here. Look at that though. Isn't that glorious? Oh, it's beautiful. Then you come to the red cabbage. I'm stuck. Yeah, the red cabbage here is doing really well. And they are also starting to form up heads, which is nice. And then this great white tomato, I started after all the other ones, and it has caught up. You wouldn't even be able to tell that I started it weeks later. Weeks later. I will say though, the tomatoes are looking scraggly. It's hot. There's leaf curl. This one has some pretty significant leaf curl. I'm hoping that when the weather cools down a little bit, they will recover. My spinach here, some of it has bolted, as you can see. Some of it is growing just however it really wants to grow. I'm not really sure what's going to happen with this. This may have been an experiment that didn't work out, which is fine. It's okay. You learn things. Let's see. There's tomato flowers. Peas are coming up here. Climbing the chicken wire like I wanted it to, using the tomatoes as support, but yeah, peas back there are growing really well. I've got this big tomato here that just came out of nowhere. It all of a sudden was the one that wanted to be the overachiever. So then what else is there? There's okra in the back that I should take a look at. Yeah, it's looking pretty green. Pretty great. Here's a better shot of the improved longs. This one was flopping over, so I leaned it up against the chain when I came and harvested endive, and it's already started to push its trundles towards there, which I think is so cool. If you sit long enough and watch, you can watch cucumber grab onto things, and it's so cool. This radish, I don't think I planted it in the right place. This stuff, I'm gonna probably end up pulling it because I don't have... Oh wait, no. Look at that. It is bulbing. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to pull this. I'm going to go through and see what I need to pull. Because, like this one, that one's done. This one's also done. They just got too hot. Which is fine, honestly. Radish, I got lots of radish seeds, so I can replant. There's lots of time left. Kale is coming in wonderfully. Look at that. Look at those leaves. They're so pretty. I've got a pea plant that has decided that it wants to be friends with the kale. Eggplants are growing, putting up leaves. They got a little bit of curl too. But again, when it's hot like this, plants are more so focused on staying alive, which curl is part of that. These nasturtiums. Oh, we got a toast nasturtium. No big deal. More nasturtiums. More strawberries. More radish. More potatoes. Probably, yeah, I'm gonna have to come back in here and put more dirt down in these bags. My zucchini has started to put out female flowers. Look at that. That is a plant ovary, and that will be a zucchini. That's exciting. These onions have started to put out shoots. Got peas growing. You guys must wonder if I do any of my gardening outside of these videos because I'm constantly fiddling with things, but that's what happens with a garden. You could come out here, do a bunch of maintenance, come back out, and there's more maintenance and more things to maintain. That's part of the fun, honestly. This pumpkin has not put out female buds for me yet. This is the Casper pumpkin. It's wanting to be friends with these peas, which are putting out flowers. There's even a pea pod. Look at that. Oh, that's fantastic. This celery is doing really good. Starting to stalk up real nicely for me here. This one is my spaghetti plant. However, I don't think that got pollinated because it's very yellow. It's still firm, so I'll be watching it. This one I'm probably going to lose because it's little and yellow. It's just hot, so the plants abandon their fruit in order to stay alive. Here's another one. This one's just growing like a weed. Look at it. I actually had to separate it from these potatoes because it has fallen into the bag and was starting to wrap around the potatoes. Oh, what else do I got over here? Got bell peppers that are putting on flowers. It's going to be interesting to see the difference between the bed peppers and the pot peppers. Just to see how they fare. Because these ones are on the same watering schedule as the bed, whereas those ones over there, I can maintain their water level a lot better. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to do a comparison. The little potato cucumber plant here has a flower on it, a couple flowers on it, which is exciting. I'll be saving seeds from this one. The cucamelons in the basket are showing me up because I bought plants to replace them, and they were like, oh hey, by the way, we're growing now. What else? I'll see, all the thistles are gone, so I'm not scarring my legs and giving homes to mosquitoes. I did accidentally knock this over. I didn't cut it, but it knocked it over. Pretty sure this is a sunflower. I didn't plant it though, so we'll see what it actually ends up being. This butternut got pollinated. Look at that. Every time I come out here, it is bigger. I'm very excited. This one did have another female bud on it, but again, it was hot, so that bud actually didn't make it. The watermelon does not have flowers yet. It is still just growing for me. I've never grown watermelon before, so I'm not really sure how it goes, but it seems to be doing okay. Oh. Nothing in the parsnip bed other than weeds. The onion tops are doing really well. For whatever reason, I just have the hardest time getting onions to bulb. They are bigger than they were when I planted them. I'm just not sure how big they're going to get, especially with their tops getting this big. I did pull a scape off of one of them, which I thought was strange. The endive. The endive is a curly mess right now because I pulled some endive and I made supper with it. And that makes me very happy that it's the first week of July and I can pull vegetables out of my garden to eat. And it was really good. It was so good, in fact, that Ian ended up having 2 plates. And that to me is always a win when you make something and someone goes back for seconds. Then I've got my little microgreen bed here. I planted this last week, and with the heat, I got a bunch of heads starting. This is probably just going to end up being microgreens because I just broadcast the seeds into this bucket, and my soaker hose actually sits in the bucket when I'm watering, so it gets watered with the rest of the beds. Nasturtiums are doing well. They're a little toasty. Everything's a little toasty, unfortunately, with the weather. What else do I have to show? I got this side of the bed, which I didn't show from the stairs. So the radish here, I'm gonna have to watch. The beets are coming up pretty good. The carrots in the corner are coming up good. The okra have grown again. You can see the corn is coming up really well. I've been told that my corn should be taller by now. However, I had to re-sow my corn a couple times because I did not pay attention when I was planting it to the weather. These 3 cabbages are untouched. which I'm super grateful for. I'm attributing it to them being around tomatoes and marigolds. So they're kind of protecting them from the pests. I have not seen any cabbage looper damage on any of the red cabbage, just that one Copenhagen market green cabbage. For whatever reason, the cabbage loopers got on it and just decimated the thing. But it's still going. So, and we also have no bee activity that I have seen yet. But it's been a week that they've been outside now, and I believe it's 2 to 3 weeks of even warm temperatures before they start to emerge. So I'm hoping it should be next weekend we might have some activity. I'm really hoping. That would be really exciting. Yeah, so that's all I got this week with everything that's going on. Just, yeah. It's all very green and growing, and I'm hopefully going to be very overrun with produce very soon. Granted, we get through this heat. But everything seems to be doing the best that it can given the circumstances. And I mean, if you were a plant and sitting out in 30 plus degree heat for a week at a time, I'm sure you'd be looking a little wilty and warm. But yeah, so that concludes week 6's garden tour here. I want to thank you guys for hanging out and taking a stroll with me through my little patch of paradise. If you would like to like and comment and subscribe and share, it really helps me out. And if you learned something, let me know. Post it down in the comments below. And yeah, I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.